Okay, guys, we're just getting ready, getting everything set up. I'm glad some of you are exploring already. So, yeah, I will do some announcements once we hit. Well, a couple more minutes, in a couple more minutes.
You're welcome. This is a bound. You're my meal.
Okay, I'm turning the voice chat on. James, feel free to talk. The voice check is on. So, Mong, you can kick off some screen recording. Thank you very much. Wave to Mong. Hi, Mong.
Hang on, does that mean Mong didn't record my amazing joke?
I hope he didn't. So he's going to record. We'll put this on YouTube afterwards. This is the third Spaces event we've held in Portals now. So the first one was our AMA with the Portals team in the gallery, which was great fun, and we also recorded that for YouTube. It's hilarious from where I'm standing because all I can see is people falling off the roofs. It's so funny. Oh, Bobby Palm Trees has a great vantage point. So anyway, the first one was in the Portals official gallery space, which again, a lot of people new to Portals when we did that. That was great of them to host us. And then afterwards, once we, after we'd acquired our Onyx, we did a very sort of Friday hang, which actually ran for a couple of hours, and we were just in there making stuff. So that was this space prior to it being done up. And now that wasn't recorded, that was just people chilling out, which was fun. And Mong built us a little obstacle course in there, a little hidden stuff. And then this is our third space here. Some people knew, this is one of your first experiences here. And so we're recording this to post on YouTube later, but we'll also, if you go into the Discord, it's being played. Melor is sharing it live in the Discord at the moment under Dino Chat, so people in Discord can see it there. But yeah, Duke, what's your first impressions?
I love it. I think it's I can't take my eyes off Dreams running around with his wide legs. The legs wide. It's cracking me up. No, it's amazing. It's interesting because obviously, I wrote the lore around DAWGTOWN, and I'm not J.K. Rowling, right? So it must have taken Rowling 10 years or 20 years to see her stuff. Somebody doing a visual representation of her world that she'd made up, and I've gotten that in less than 6 months. So and considering you and Mong built this together mainly, it's pretty close to the vision of it. Especially that Portals are still in its infancy, right? So
yeah,
you see now in a year's time, will evolve more. So I think it's great. It's actually giving me quite a few ideas, in fact, for additional lore.
Portals is honestly, I feel it's one of the most underrated projects out there. What they've built here is a functioning, customizable metaverse with voice integration, and so much stuff is available already. And I actually showed this to the guys at Network to say, guys, look what's already out there and working really well. And I've just got a brand new PC, so I've cranked all my settings up to ultra, and it looks incredible on my monitor. So it's, you know, we had to when we first partnered with Portals, we had it's a web-based browser, so we had to downgrade a lot of the textures and reduce the complexity of the model a little bit. But God, it was worth doing. It's really worth doing. This is such a fantastic utility, and I know that you know, this isn't 100. This isn't quite what I envisioned for Scran, which is the food quarter of the Dinodawg DAWGTOWN. But you know, I've kept larger open spaces in the middle so people can explore and walk around. But it's really cool to get a flavour of it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And the detail will come. I mean, Scran will have lots of spillages and smelly stuff going on. You know, and other parts will have like a furnace in it. Obviously, Inky Blinky will have lots and lots of dark little passages and
yes,
a lot of strange characters in it. What I like about it, though, is because we wrote the lore months before we even built it or thought about building it. What I do like is the space we've got. You know, some of these metaverse spaces, they're kind of on theme with each other. They're all a bit kind of steampunk, you know, or something thereabouts. Whereas I think ours is unique to us.
Well, speaking to the Portals team, because we've been showing them previews of it for weeks, they've been like super impressed by it because it's so. They provide a number of free out-of-the-box building tools, and they also provide a number of templates, and they're all sort of a sci-fi vibe. And we've gone, it's partially because of some 3D knowledge that I have, we're able to use much more customizable pieces. So that's why we've got this very sort of Terry Pratchett, Tudor-esque, ramshackle shantytown that we've built. It's not something that you get by default. You really have to have a little bit of 3D understanding to do it. But a big shout out to Bus, who came in, and the builders now, because they were super helpful as well with you know, figuring out what we could do in here. So and then Mong and Mela have been super helpful. Mong in particular set up all the NPCs, all the dinos you see standing at the stalls. You can click and interact with them, and they'll respond. And again, it offers you a little more flavor of the lore and the storytelling. And that's, I mean, actually one of the big things we're going to hammer home in today's AMA is how we're refocusing on lore. And so again, this for me is it's really awesome to see something come to life.
Oh,
yeah.
So you want to run through them?
I tell you what we're going to run through. I'm going to start with a couple of competitions. So firstly, those of you here representing the Poison Gang, you guys we ran a competition in the lead up to this to see which squad would promote the AMA best. You know, credit to Deviant, who did a good job, but the Poison Gang as a team just absolutely ran away with it. And so they have won the prize. The prize was either a new Portals avatar for your squad, which Poison's Gang already have one technically, or one of these market stores dedicated to their squad. So if you, I'm walking over to it, but in this corner here, I've already added a Poison Gang stall. It says coming soon. So I will check with the Poison Gang. Yes, Voodoo's bouncing up and down. I will check with the Poison Gang and see what they want to put in their stall. We can put some NPCs in, and we'll maybe have a chat with Bus and see if there's some sort of interaction or something. Maybe we can put some of their token in there or something. But that will be something we'll work on in the next month or so. That's well done, boys on Poison Gang. Competition 1. Competition 2. After this is over, for those of you who want to stick around, Mong has hidden 20 different. Well, it's a bag of bones. It's a bag of 100 bones. Those of you who still think you need bones, especially now the mine's closed, there are 20 bags of 100 bones. So basically, it's one bag of bones, but you can do it 20 times. So the first 20 people to find that bag of bones in the level will claim it. But I think we're going to open it up after the AMA is finished, so people aren't running everywhere. I will say this: it's a hidden part of the world, and Mong has built it, and he's done a superb job. So that will open up once the AMA is over. And then the third thing is the team at Portals has given us a Papu NFT to give away, and you can win that. We're going to open a competition for 24 hours. You can win that by whoever takes the best screen grab of this event. And doing this live on Discord, live in Portals, and recording it is quite an undertaking. So I will not be taking screen grabs while we're in here. So please just snap away. There is a way to hide the interface if you just want like a crisp photo. But we got some great photos out of the last two AMAs we did in Portals, so please do snap away. And if you pick the best one, you put it on Twitter and you use the hashtag DinodawgsPortals, then you might win a Papu NFT. So that's very exciting. Right, so that's my announcements out the way. Right, well, my first agenda is talking about this. So we had a little bit of chat, just getting your first impressions, James, when we came in. But for those of you who want to know what's coming, we talked about reconnecting to the lore this year. That's one of our primary goals. Well, if you scroll back through the announcements, you'll read the lore James wrote about DAWGTOWN. And you'll know that DAWGTOWN is, if you read that, or I will tell you if you're not familiar, DAWGTOWN consists of 5 quarters. I say, zones. Oh, look at Bus on stage stealing the limelight. It consists of 5 quarters. This is Scran, which is the food quarter. James, do you want to tell us a little bit about the rest?
Well, I do, but I also don't want to. So basically, I'm going to jump ahead here to what we're doing on the lore more generally this year, because one thing we noticed last year during the so-called end of the bull run into the bear is that, and you guys will be more than aware of it as NFT collectors, a lot of NFT collections started sort of following each other. Staking begins, so everyone is expecting staking. And then, I don't know, someone does an art upgrade, so that's kind of expecting thing. And it's kind of like what the industry was doing is one influential collection starts doing something and then the other collections sort of follow suit. And I think when we're all finding our feet as projects, I think that worked quite well. You kind of knew what the community were looking for. But I think what's happened in the bear is, other than the fact a lot of projects have just rugged because they were cash grabs essentially, is I think the ones that have stuck it out have really kind of found their voice. And I think that whether you're talking about Portals or D-Gods or Apes or Cactus World or Knittables, every collection has kind of worked out what is the thing that they're really, really good at. And the stuff that we sort of pride ourselves on is the storytelling aspect and also Adam's 3D and art sort of credentials. So we're basically doubling down on that now, between now and obviously the next bull run, which is kind of really fleshing out the kind of Dinodawg story. You may recall at the beginning of this whole thing, one of our top aim is to try and get Dinodawgs into as a sort of family entertainment brand, and that is still something that we are super keen on. So essentially the long and the short of it is I'm now writing a Dinodawgs novel. So it's going to be kind of a bit aimed at that. If you look at the early Harry Potter novels, that sort of age group where it's kind of probably 10-year-olds and up, I think they're going to be the best market for a walking, talking dinosaur that lives in a village or a town with other dinosaurs. So that's really exciting. But the only thing I would ask everyone for is, that's not going to be created overnight. That's
no.
I'm sort of midway through the first chapter, and there's about 17 chapters planned. So, but you guys will definitely be the first to receive it when it starts going out. So that's exciting, and all the other stuff, like kind of building of this world and stuff. It's all with a view to sort of fleshing that out.
I'm just going to pause you 1 second. For those who haven't noticed, Bus flying across the middle of the marketplace. That's hilarious.
How's he doing that?
Basically, he got up top and jumped, and I think he hit the dance move, and it just kept him in the air. Hilarious.
He looks like he's having a sort of seizure.
He's controlled by the. He's possessed.
Off he goes.
So I had to interrupt you. Whoever's got a screen grab of that's amazing.
Anyway, so that's what's going on from a lore side. Also, with the plan to do more on the airdrop side, which Adam will probably talk a bit more about. It's going to be much more lore based.
Yes.
As well, and it's going to tie into that.
Well, I've got some announcements to make on that. So the other thing I wanted to say about the portal space was this is now public. People can come in here and do what they want whenever they want. We will keep adding to it, but we'll host big events when we open up the new quarters. So look behind you. Oh my God, there's a robot in here. There's a massive robot. I don't know who that is. Oh my gosh. Interact. Has R2 put that in there? Anyway, we'll host big events once we open up other parts of this world. The next one I'm going to work on is Smokestack, which is the resident quarters. But it'll be fun because throughout the year the space will change. Even now, I put in a market stall here that's got the construction hats, and that's very much a little nod to the builders now, a little nod to the construction crew, but that will be moved over to the trading part once we open that up as well. So every section will have something for each individual squad. There'll be nods to different factions, Rover and Baron, and it'll just grow and grow. But we'll spread it out throughout the year. So and it's all going to be centered back on the lore. The other thing I should point out is that we're obviously working with the builders now. We're hopefully going to do more events with the Portals team and start spreading the word of this district and getting other avatars in here and other communities in here. But we want them to come and experience something different. So now that we've built this one section, more will be coming. You'll see anywhere you see a no entry or a coming soon sign, it means there's going to be something through there at some point. Cool. All right. I think that covers portals. Should we talk about factions?
Sorry, mute was on. Yes, let's do it.
So, I'll update the team what's happening. The artwork's finished. Been finished for a few weeks. And we have a new dev team that we're really excited with. We're working with a team called Lucky Dog, who work with doggos. They're a brilliant team, really good. We're going to be pimping them out quite a bit because they're super communicative and very efficient. And they've already, as of today, this morning, we had a rough demo of the faction's website, and functionality's all there. We're still working on the design. So that is in progress right now. Basically, I tested it this morning. I loaded up my wallet. It registered, found all my Dino NFTs, and I was given a preview of Rover or Baron. And I'll be able to exchange my bone to go one of those ways. So that's really exciting. That's in progress. We're not going to reveal the price just yet. A couple of people have been guessing on the forum. You're all sort of roughly near what it might be. So I don't think it's going to come as a huge surprise. So that's very good news. What else? There's been a few questions in the Discord regarding what's the benefits of going Rover or Baron. Well, there's a reason why we're talking about airdrops now, and we're talking about factions at the same time. The reason is that if you will qualify for certain airdrops if you're Rover, you will qualify for other airdrops if you're Baron. Our airdrops will be reading what you have in your wallet. When you go Rover or go Baron, the metadata will be altered, so it will say which faction you are. The other thing that will happen is that the rarity is going to change. So once you pick, because we're adding new metadata, if 80% of people went Baron, those of you that go Rover will actually have a rarer NFT by a small faction. but still. So that's quite exciting as well. So yeah, there'll be an initial cost to go one side or the other. And then the other news, and we've said this all along, but I'm just going to confirm it, is that you will be able to reverse the process, and you will also be able to flick straight from Rover to Baron, I believe. Yes, that's been we tested that today. So yes, that is definitely possible. But each of those will cost something. Now, initially this will all be in bone. Bone will hopefully circulate through the economy of the Dinodawgs. And when bone runs dry, we will have another mechanism with which to do it. So don't think that just because you've used all your bone on baronifying everyone, or you only had a little bone, that you'll never be able to do it again. There will be other methods by which you can do it, and that will be revealed through the year. Duke, I don't think I've given away too much.
No, I think we've done it justice. The airdrops will be, we're going to keep you on your toes, so you're not going to be able to predict who is getting what when. And although the intervals will be semi-regular, they won't be completely predictable. So it's you're not going to be able to sort of pre-plan. Okay, well, I'm going to have this type of trait or not this type of trait. The people with the most, basically the people with the most range of traits and dinos will stand to receive the most stuff, and that's our way of rewarding the bigger holders as well as everyone else.
So the strength here is that one of the real justifications for moving to this method and away from staking is that the more variety of dinos you own and the more involved you are by factioning your dinos and being part of the community, the more chance you will have of receiving airdrops. So there'll be airdrops just for rovers, there'll be airdrops just for barons, there will be airdrops for 3D holders and for OGs, and then we may go further and start doing them for squad members too. So the more dinos you hold, the more chance you'll get an airdrop. As James says, the airdrops will be regular but not predictable. And then the other thing is, you don't know when we're going to do a what's the name of it? When we're going to check everyone's wallets. What do you call that? Snapshot. Thank you. So, you'll have seen our recent messages about Gunther von Dog and his airship. But we will be doing random snapshots. We will do the first airdrop shortly after factions. I can't say how shortly. Bear in mind, NFT space, you say shortly, people think it's going to be 24 hours, but absolutely not. It'll be weeks. But we'll do one shortly after factions, and then hopefully we'll start to explain a bit more about how that's going to work. But basically, just be involved, and then you'll receive airdrops that are very connected to the lore, and over time, you might want to try and collect them all. You might want to collect a combination. We'll just have to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, very quickly, I'm just going to come back to your first question to me, which is running through the map when it's complete, which is, so where you're standing right now is Scran, which is the Dinodawgs eat a lot relative to their size. That's why they have the big mouths. They've got very fast metabolism. So eating is a kind of full-time occupation. So the Scran is one of the larger quarters of the DAWGTOWN, where food gets brought in from outside of the walls of DAWGTOWN and given to the hungry peoples. There are other sections that we will be building, but they'll take time because DAWGTOWN is enormous. There is the Clank, which I'm particularly excited about, which is the sort of industrial metalworks part. It's got a big forge in the middle, funnily enough, called the Forge. And that's where you can buy gear and all the other stuff. You've then got Smokestack, which is sort of the chilled out kind of residential quarter where dinos have their little hovels and their homes. Then you've got the kind of northwest. You've got Barter Place, which is the commercial district where you can buy and sell goods. And then to the north, you've got Inky Blinky, which most of you guys know about, which is the very, very naughty district where bad stuff happens and you don't go after dark. And then in the middle of that, you've got Castle Rover, which is where the ruling dinos live and kind of overlook.
I will say, currently, I've slightly bypass Castle Rover with just a giant statue of Rover, but we'll see how we go.
Castle Rover, you should be able to see from any part of Dogtown once it's complete. So, yeah, it's going to be very, very fun building it. Very rewarding as well.
I know that the Black Beanie Club has already staked a claim to Inky Blinky.
Inky Blinky. Yeah, I've got big plans for Inky Blinky. I'm going to be, I'm going to be quite involved. I think when we come to doing Inky Blinky.
We drew up a very crude plan of the layout to begin with, and what should I say? We have made a sort of spiritual home for each of the squads within Dogtown. So obviously, we've got the pop stand over here. So the popsicle pack, Scran is definitely their zone, but and possibly the little bit of Poison Gang, because there should be a frog stall somewhere, but we'll talk about that. And then Black Beanie Club has already staked a claim to Inky Blinky, but I feel the Diamond Dogs maybe as well. So anyway, lots of stuff happening, and then Bus is pointing out to me, and construction crew with the helmets. Well, construction crew would be part of the clank. So I have put a little nod to them here in the corner with the helmets, but that will not be staying in Scran because it's not a good idea. But I've just put it in because I had the helmets ready. The helmets, and Bus, I don't know how much alpha this is, but I'm going to say it anyway, will be available to buy as a prop, the Dinodawg construction crew helmets, as part of the Builders DAO shopping mall. So one of the first things we're going to do is link up to other districts, and I can tell you one of them will be Mong World. For those of you who've seen our community manager Mong, he's building this marvelous world. We'll probably link up to Discovery Gardens, which is Tondo space, and then definitely to Builders DAO. So we'll have a little section of portals over to other districts. Where are the shiny crystals at? Yes, there will be crystals available at some point as well. Pull a run. Cool. Alrighty. What else can we talk about? Any other alpha we can give out, James, or do you think we've dropped enough?
Well, yeah, no, I think it's enough because we've got to save some back for Q&A.
Well, I've got the Q&A here. Mong put a section up on the Discord, so I'm going to read some of them out. Although I feel we've probably answered quite a bit. But okay, I'm going to launch in. So Mello asks, will DDK have a designated social space in Yaku? Something like Yaku Tower Mansion or DDK District? So the answer to that is ideally yes. But what's happened in the last, 4 months is that as each project we're partnered with gears up for the launch of certain parts of their world or their metaverse, we have to allocate time and resources to what we can do at the time. So we now have avatars that work in portals. We had a period in December where we had to focus on Mine Runner. For those of you who are Yaku holders, you'll know that we already have working avatars in the Yakuverse. They have a privately released metaverse, which if you go into their Discord, you can go into. So we've held out from announcing the fact that that's available because they're going to announce their public one. But when the public Yakuverse comes out, we'll do a big announcement about how anyone can play as Dinodawg. You have to be a holder, I believe. But you can play in the Yakuverse. And then the other thing that the Yaku team have already offered us is, again, trait matching, the same as we're getting in Network. So again, in time, this is not rolling out overnight, you will be able to match your NFT profile to your Yaku avatar, which is very exciting. But in terms of a public space, it'll happen, but I think it's down the line. One of the things that is on the calendar, though, is a social space for Network. So now that Portals has weirdly become the first one, which is amazing, but we'll be building one hopefully this year for Network as well. Okay, so Rolex asks, apart from the art upgrades, what are the other benefits to factions? James, do you want to take this one, or do you want me to answer?
No, I think you can take it.
So he points out that initially we talked about maybe there being a bone multiplier and stuff. Well, you know that we've now closed the first bone mine. So the main, the main advantage is currently the airdrops and the exposure to additional parts of the lore that you otherwise won't have access to. So now that we've worked out how the whole gated process works, we will start dropping items just to Baron holders or just to Rover holders, and these will not be available to other people. Whether or not as a holder you choose to trade it is up to you. Maybe that item becomes more valuable, maybe not. But it's really just exposing yourself to more of the lore and more availability and just being more involved in the project. The other thing is that for me, the artwork speaks massively. So, it's really brought me back to the OG collection. So I mean, you'd agree, right, James? Do you think that the new artwork has taken it up a peg?
It's been very, very interesting because I think one thing that's become quite apparent when you look at the evolution of NFTs is we started with 2D, not just us, but like the industry. Started with 2D, then when people realized you could do 3D kind of art, then we were excited about that because Adam's a 3D artist. And then the meta shifted back to 2D again, and actually the most popular collections are predominantly 2D. Now, aside from that, when we'd already kind of promised factions, so when Adam went back to doing it, this is kind of, this industry is so young, and the learning curve is so steep, even for experienced artists. It was a real chance to hone the style, and I'm just going to say it, the factions artwork is way better than the OG artwork. It just is. It's the color palette is better thought out, the lines are better, it's more comedic. So that I think that's been really exciting because obviously there's a utility reason to hold factions because it means you can have access to certain airdrop items that will lead to other things that we can't talk about. But the truth is the art's just really popping, and it's just really, really good art.
I mean, the other thing that I want to really highlight here is that I don't think staking is a massively fair system. You just sort of put your NFT into a staking thing and then you bugger off, for a while. And I've seen a lot of people come back into the Discord and be like, hey, my dino's been staking for 6 months. What's happened? And I'm like, no, ideally, that's not how we want it to work. We want people to be involved in the project and to really have an ownership over their character and start to, get involved. But it's not really... we didn't start this as a project just to flip. We started it as a project, to create an IP and create a character and story.
Yeah, this whole staking kind of meta was a weird one because I think we didn't see it coming. No one did really, and then suddenly everyone was. It was almost seen as weird if you didn't offer your community staking. But the truth is, and I think we've all realised this over the last year, the idea of the part we enjoyed the most about staking was coming up with the concept for the bone mine and the story behind it and all of that. Actually having a load of NFTs sat in a custodial wallet, just earning some sort of token is sort of boring. There's no involvement there. They're just off doing that, and it's whereas with the airdrop system, you're getting rewarded for holding your dinos, but there's going to be way more kind of activity and involvement both ways in that, and that's what we want. I think the NFT projects that are going to develop and go places over the next 5-10 years are going to be the ones that are fun and entertaining more than anything else, more than ones that are DeFi or any other bits and bobs. And I think that's really what we're aiming for.
There's a follow-up question.
In my opinion.
Yeah, there's a follow-up question where this is Rolex. He asks, as the initial roadmap doesn't have any mentions about Rover and Baron, with the addition of Rover and Baron concept, where does this thing lead to, and is this a change in the roadmap? I would say, if anything, it's what we mentioned at the top of the call, is it's just sort of a refocus on the lore and it just involving the community much more in the storytelling, and ultimately it just reinforces the roadmap, because what it really is pointing out that really we're trying to get the book. We're trying to get the story told, whether that's through animation or TV series or whatever. The point
Graphic
is,
novel, maybe graphic novel.
The point is that it all brings everyone back to the lore and the storytelling, which I think is the focus.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't change the roadmap. It's not.
It doesn't change. That's my point. It enhances it, where I think staking did nothing for it. So, okay, Aim Dreams, who's in here, I think, somewhere, he asked, will the limited editions come back? The answer to that is yes. There's no specific timing for that yet, but we have the artwork for the next patch. It was a shame that had to pause. That was more sort of a technical issue with Magic Eden, but there's no reason for that not to continue in the future. I think we'd want to have time to promote it properly and highlight it, and I think the lesson I learned here is running 30 week in, week out is too much. So it's going to be more likely small batches. So we might announce the launch of the next 5 or 10 at some point down the line. But it's important we have the right... it's really important that we have the right... what's the word? The technical tools in place before starting that up again. And he also follows up with, how long do you think you'll continue on this project? And with 3 games and metaverses integrators, are there any more on the horizon? There's always room for more. How long do you think this will continue, James?
It's not like there's not a sort of there's not like a set sort of end game in the sense that like, okay, well, we've done enough now, see you later. I wouldn't. We're just at the point as project owners, really, where we're getting into like phase 2 of the brand's infancy, right? I think phase 1 is like trying to have it take off as an NFT project, and I think we did that. I think now we're one of the few projects that are weathering the bear, and I think my punt on it is I think that will put us in a really nice club, in the next 2 years, especially when we get the next halving, and we'll probably get an NFT bull market again. But I think it's a foothold to kind of take the whole brand further, not out of Web3, but also to aspects of entertainment that aren't necessarily primarily Web3, like novel writing and all that stuff. So as long as there's people who are interested in hearing the story of the Dinodawgs, which there are, and thank you very much to our community who've maintained interest even in the bear market. There's been, everyone in this spaces. Is it spaces or is it a town hall meeting? I don't know. As long as there's people who are interested in it, it's proof that what we're building is entertaining, and that's and as long as that's the case, we'll carry on building.
I mean, I would say look at what Look at what we managed to do in a year, and you're right. We now can look back and say, well, the first year was creating everything, and now we're at a point where it's expansion, and we already have Nine Runner out. We have we have Yaku definitely on its way. There's something else big coming from Network that I can't talk about just yet, but that's coming Q2. Degen Royale, thank you, Bus. Degen Royale, we've spoken to a couple. Someone talked about, are there any other games? Yes, we have spoken to other projects about whether we want to partner with them or not. Duke, stop! Don't tease people. Yes, there's I'm impressed with what we've done in the year, and honestly, it will only get bigger. So yes, there is more coming. We want people to have as much, fun and utility out of being a part of the Dinodawg community as possible. That's what I want it to be about.
Yeah.
Okay. What next question? Is there any update on the Dinodawg Kingdom in Network or our own potential metaverse? Well, there are things happening with Network. Obviously, Mind Runner's already out. They will be introducing gating that avatar shortly because they'll be reading Solana wallets. But there's another big thing that is on our roadmap that will be coming through Network shortly. The land.
Oh yeah. We're not allowed to talk about that.
I don't know. I want to wait till we have previews.
Oh well, that's a very exciting thing coming in Q2.
I think Q2 for that. And then there is, Bas, you can guess, but I'm not going to confirm it. In terms of the land, so I'll give you a little bit of alpha here. we've already talked and seen documents from Network and some demos of customization of land plots. Not dissimilar to what you can do in Portals, but probably a little more, little less blocky, little more three-dimensional, because it's run by Unreal. But that is down the line. But it will happen, but it's well down the line. So exciting things ahead with them. So BJ's got like 500 questions in here. What are plans for expanding into other metaverses and games? We've kind of covered that. We're always on the lookout for new opportunities. What else has he put? What's the differences? Oh, this is an interesting one. What would the differences be in the airdrops between unfactioned OGs, factioned OGs, and 3D? The other thing that we talked about was that the airdrops that if you hold, let's say you hold a Baron, the airdrop you would receive as a Baron would be a Baron-themed airdrop. So again, it brings everything back to the lore. So if Baron resonates with you, you know you'll be rewarded as such. So that's what I would say to that. What else we've got? Yaku said they'd be happy to work with us utilizing their in-game meta NFT renting plugin. This would be yes, that would be great. Again, so with Yaku, they're very busy right now fine-tuning the bugs in their program, and I look forward to working with them. They're a great team, so we'll definitely have more opportunities with Yaku coming. Mela asked a very nice question. What gives you energy and drive to create so much awesome Dinodawg-related stuff? It's been some time since project launch, yet every time I hear from you in an AM Discord, you're always excited about it. What do you say to this, James? It's nice to work on a project that is something you created and has such a rich sort of history behind it, don't you think? I mean, this is what we're talking about anyway.
Well, it's different. I think it's different for each of us because for you, you work in the industry, so stuff you've created in the past, you know there's an audience for. What I quite like is the fact that although I've been at school and I've done drawings or written stuff, I've never done it publicly. So it's good to see the feedback on the world that's being created. I think Dinodawgs are quite. Dinodawgs quite. We made it's not heavy. It's quite a fun. The whole Dinodawgs world and lore
enjoyable, yeah.
is enjoyable because it's a bit silly, but sort of adult enough that we can have real storylines and real stuff going on. And also the space we're in, the Web3 space, is the fastest evolving space. It's the fastest evolving sector in the world. It's the most exciting place to be. Yes, we know that the market came crashing down on us a few months ago, and yes, we know that there's a lot of cowboy stuff and a lot of rugs and a lot of hacking. But it is the most exciting part of the world to be in. VR and metaverse is exciting. So we're I think that's what keeps us going. It's the fact that we like it's a fun sort of brand, but also it's just an exciting place to be. Also, I think honestly, the place we've gotten. Weirdly, the first 3 months of Dinodawgs were incredibly stressful times. It was in the bull market was still running. It was like, what are you doing now? What are you doing now? What are you building? Is it going to be DeFi? Am I getting a token? And it was all like now. Whereas I think now we found the people who are in the community now, people who kind of want storytelling, they want comical characters, we're a very chill community. And I think we now build from the ground up with this really great community as we expand. And that's a much nicer place to be. People who want to look forward to the lore rather than somebody who's asking you, are you building a DeFi product? Which we're not.
Yeah.
So I actually think where we are now, even in this fair market, with the challenges that go along with that, as a creative, it is a more rewarding place than the end of the bull market.
Yeah, I think you've nailed that. I've got two more. I've got two questions left, and then we'll open it up to people in the space. Bus is raising one question in the chat right now, which was when DDK merch. Now, I would say that we've spent the year looking into merch, and we just have not found the right partner for merch, is the honest truth. You've seen that we've tested hats and we've tested hoodies and stuff, but I don't want to put cheap merch out there, At the moment, the only one thing that we came back that we really liked was the metal prints from one of our other partner projects who they provide. So we might be rolling those out, but we're still looking for a good merch partner in terms of hats and hoodies and stuff, right? I don't want to put cheap cat out there.
Yeah, and also it's another thing that, like, I think the one thing now we've sort of found our voice. We're not one of these trying to copy DAWGTOWN or Kets or anyone else. I think the whole kind of I've made a hoodie with our logo, and I know I did make a hoodie with our logo, following the pattern. I'd rather do merch that's more us, Yeah.
I will. There's a couple of people asking about the metal prints I mentioned. I think we might roll that out soon. It's not going to make the project like any revenue or anything, but you can specify your profile picture and get it printed as a 3D, not as a 3D, get it printed as a metal print or on acetate, I think it is, on plastic. We might just do that as a nice thing for the community, I think. But
I'd love to do some actual 3D dinos.
I would too.
Because we've got the design.
We've got the design. I know.
We could do definitely a prototype using the model now and just see how it looks.
Yeah, well, we will see. But anyway, I think we'll do the metal thing. It's run by Kingdom of Dwarves, and they've got I previewed one on Twitter. I'll post some more actually, and then people can see, and we'll see if the community wants to do it.
I can see all of us having a Dinodawg on their desktop.
It'd be amazing.
Like a 6-inch with a 7-inch tall one. It'd be awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, the last question I've got in the chat is from Woody, asking, will factions play a larger role in gatekeeping parts of the metaverse to encourage its use, e.g. faction island, faction-only vehicles, weapons, abilities? I personally would very much like that to be the case, but it's going to depend on... we're only just entering this world of like gated communities, so as I said earlier, Yaku will be gated, D-Gen Royale is gated, Mine Runner is also ultimately gated for owners. I would love to make it faction-based too, however, that doesn't currently apply to the 3Ds. So if it's a 3D utility, it's unlikely to be worked that way. However, we did talk with D-Gen Royale. It might be that we drop 2D frog launchers as an NFT, and that maybe provides you... this is an example. This isn't this is happening. Let's say an airdrop was a frog launcher in 2D. That might unlock a weapon in D-Gen Royale. That's an example of how it could work. So again, in that case, you could have factionized weapons and stuff. But it's going to take a lot of careful planning. But yes, ideally, you want to have some pride and ownership over, have utility provided through factioning your dino. But it'll start with the airdrops, and then those airdrops may have multiple uses, so we'll have to see. Great, I think we're through everything from question-wise. So we've politely asked everyone not to talk through this, but you're free to jump on the mic, anyone in the space, if they want to say anything. Whatever you want. And then also, Mong, you can open up the Bag of Bone challenge whenever you're ready. If it's not already open, you might have already opened it. Oh, give me 2 minutes, he says.